I used to be an athletic kid, loved just playing any kind of sport, but it was just hearing the cheers, seeing how the game actually happened from my first game. That's where I got that passion and that love. So tell you where I'm from. My name is Duane Collins. I'm originally from Greenfield Park, played there for about 5 years. I started coaching with Sun Youth after I finished CEGEP. I've been coaching with them ever since. What do I do outside of coaching? I actually work for the Sun Youth organization as a recreation coordinator currently. And my task, it includes the running of our Sun Youth Day Camp, finding new activities that the kids can be involved with, as well as trying to keep them as active as possible and stimulate as much interest as we can. Someone was to describe me. I want to say punctual, a little OCD. Punctual, OCD, on top of things, organized. I want to say as well, passionate.
Why do you say passionate?
Passionate is just because of the love of the game. You'll see that I get a little intense while I'm coaching up kids, about film, about preparing for the next game, for the next level. Whenever I do coach, I put my whole heart and soul into it. Some of the people that shaped me to become who I am. I want to say Coach Earl. He was a great influence. My parents, guaranteed. Some of my former coaches when I played for the Greenfield Park Packers, and definitely friends and family. Those are my biggest influences. So how these people influenced me or helped me, it was Coach Earl with just, you can go and ask the man any question, encyclopedia of knowledge. I talked to him, even just relax over a beer and just probe the man for any kind of information that he had football related. My parents were always very supportive, very comforting. They helped me out and didn't really say no to me, but still needed to work for it to help me bring myself to where I am now today. Friends, family, always encouraging. They know when football season rolls around, it's a different hat that I end up wearing from during the year, and they know, like I said, with the passionate, just all in. Most important role that any of them played, I would have to say my parents. Just like I said, always supportive, always driving. Even as a coach, not just as a player, they would try to attend as many games as possible. Even when I was coaching, it wasn't just coming out to support me. They were always trying to encourage the kids, cheering for both teams, any kind of good plays. That's why I got those fundamental skills on equal play, fair share, driving, and supporting. So I think when I really developed my true love for football, it was my first year ever playing. Brand new to the sport. It was second year Pee Wee, so I just turned 13 years old. We're in our first game. I knew I was going to be riding the bench, but I had to get thrown onto the field because of an injured player. The opposing team had just scored and we were on kickoff for return. I get onto the field, the ball just happened to come to me. I picked it up and I basically just ran for my life. I used to be an athletic kid, loved just playing any kind of sport, but it was just hearing the cheers, seeing how the game actually happened from my first game. That's where I got that passion and that love. I played football for 5 years with the Greenfield Park Packers. Then moved on and got recruited to play Cégep. From there, I played 2 years. Took about a year and a half to 2 years off from playing, and I ended up getting called from my cousin, who's our current football coordinator. He was coaching a team and he needed some help. He knew what kind of a player I was, and he asked me to come help. And this was 18 years ago. So some of my best memories from playing, it was one of my best memories from actually playing. It was in a championship game, my second year of playing football. We were up at the time, but just went on a deep post route. Ball was just slightly overthrown, but I made a nice diving catch in the end zone, brought it down one-handed, and that was just an incredible feeling. Back then, the championship games were held at Molson Stadium, so even though our crowd didn't fill up all the bleachers like the Alouettes, it was still amazing because it didn't matter which side of the field that you were on, you were cheering for that kind of a play. I began coaching back in 2003. I had helped out prior to there, but I was still playing at the time, so I wasn't ready as a full-time coach. I got called from our current football coordinator, my cousin, who just took over the Pee-wee level. He needed some help. He needed some trustworthy people. Called me up because he knew of my experience and my passion for the game. I started off as a receivers coach in special teams, and this was, like I said, back in 2003, and been coaching ever since. So I got started by just a phone call. At the beginning, playing was my biggest passion. Thinking about becoming a coach, it wasn't really something that I had intended on. I wanted to try and play and get as far as I could. But I'm so happy that that transition got made after I did finish playing, took a little bit of time off, reflect on myself, and be able to put that dedication and passion into my current coaching career. Envisioning the future, it's always a tough question. I did see myself getting into either architecture or some form of business-oriented program. Cars didn't line up or fall right for that, but that was still okay. The coaching is just always a passion. I treat it as a second job. I'm just really happy that point in my life, that's when I got that call to go ahead and give people a hand. How long I've been coaching for I'm entering into my 18th year. I've always been a Sun Youth coach, Pee-wee, Bantam, Midget. I never coached for any other team except for during the summer, just an all-star program where it's a bunch of other passionate coaches we get together. But as for during the season, it's only been Sun Youth in my heart. I think that if I wasn't coaching for Sun Youth right now, I would still try and get into some kind of coaching. Giving back has always been a priority of mine, just because I was given so much as I was growing up. I don't think I would be able to just sit back, watch football, watch sports all day long. I'm more of an active person. So if I wasn't coaching football, I probably would have tried coaching some kind of other sport. From all my years of coaching, best thing about being a coach, it's seeing how those kids mature, how they grow up, move on with their lives, still have a passion either for the game in some way, shape, or form, taking it as far as they could, but seeing these young men grow into actual full-grown adults, and even sometimes passing them on the street, or they come by to see a game, catch a game that's playing in the park, and they still call me coach, even if I coached them about 12 years ago. So getting any kind of football training, from coaching clinics, experience, it can help you prepare for almost any situation, but it can't prepare you for everything. And I think that there's one time, it wasn't with Sun Youth, but coaching that all-star team, we got embarrassed during the championship game. And despite that we had all these other coaches, we had the mentality of, we're going in with our system, we're going in to play our game. So it was the adaptability that was a problem for us to overcome in the heat of the moment. Unfortunately, that game we lost. Like I said, bad. Didn't matter what kind of knowledge that we were pulling as coaches. We tried every situation, everything that we could. It was just, they had better skilled players. We didn't have the proper formations, proper training, because we never showed the kids any situation that was close to it. So what was helpful, how we overcame it, is from then on, we always sat down a couple of months before that all-star tournament was going to happen during the off season, and we discussed what our main formation is, what kind of adapting that we want to do, what kind of new formations that we want to implement. And putting that all together, we basically came up with a phenomenal playbook where any player is interchangeable, as well as adapting on the field to whatever other formation. So trying to be as prepared as possible. In a whole, I think that situation really taught us, or taught me, don't be too cocky. Don't be too overconfident. Even though we had a phenomenal team, we were just unprepared. So trying to dot all the I's and cross all the T's, making sure that we were on the same page as coaches before we go and teach it to the kids, I found that to be extremely important. And this situation happened about 10 years ago. Since then, we haven't been caught off guard since doing that tournament, and we try and apply it to the field as well when we're teaching the players. I want to say that I think my fondest memory was, as bad as it sounds, a season that we went 0-11, lost in the playoffs. We didn't win a single game that whole year, but we had a squad, just not the right talent. Unfortunately, it was a lot of new players. A lot of crying, a lot of emotions at the very beginning. But even though we still didn't win a single game, those players, they all learnt valuable lessons. And that it's not just about winning, and their football skills also progress. So throughout the entire season, we just saw a maturity grow and grow amongst these players. And come the end of the season, everything was all smiles. They were really happy from what they learned. They went and continued playing. Some of them even went on to Cégep. Coaching for Sun Youth, I think it's how tight-knit of a family that we are. The coaches that are there, they've been around for many, many years. We try and bring in some new blood from some former players, wherever they might come from. But we all know each other. We all rely on each other. We all support each other. And this is through all the levels. And some of us are even best friends, hang out, barbecues. It's a nice tight-knit family. And even then, I think that the players are able to feel the camaraderie amongst the coaches. So, future aspirations that I would have for Sun Youth, it would be I would want to see our program grow, bring it back to the glory days when we had almost 50 kids on the field or on the roster in our midget level. the winning the championships, bringing together a new tight-knit family. I would like to see our program grow in that aspect and evolve even further through the other levels within our program. I think in about another 5 to 10 years time, we might be able to accomplish that through the help, support, and just love that the employees as well as the volunteers at Sun Youth have to promote not just Sun Youth and what they do for the community, but also our sports programs. It would take a lot of work, but I think that we have the right people on board to help us bring it to that level.
Perfect. All right. Thank you again for sitting down with us to do this interview and share some of your thoughts about it.
It's my pleasure. I'm glad to do it.